live, which hopefully I've just done. And welcome, plant life people. I was off last week. We were working on some stuff in our personal life and didn't have time for a demo. So that's just life. I've been doing this now. It's going to be close to 2 years soon. And sometimes you miss a week. So we are back, plant life people, with another vegan cooking demo. And if you're new here, please go ahead and like this video if you end up liking it, and please subscribe to my channel while you're here. It really helps me out to grow my little vegan village or vegan community. So tonight I'm really excited, like I say every week, but I'm really excited because I'm trying a recipe that I really wanted to try for a long time and just thought it was too intricate and time consuming, so I never actually made it. And then when I actually decided to make it, which I've already done a test batch, everyone knows, and it actually was way easier than I thought it was going to be, and I wish I had made it sooner. So what we are making today, I'm going to show you, is a spicy tuna substitute made out of tomatoes. So we're going to take this tomato and turn it into a sort of Asian-inspired tuna substitute. And a lot of this type of recipe can be used in sushi. It can also be used in sort of rice bowls. And I want to say poke bowls, but I don't want to get too far into that because I don't actually know what a poke bowl is. If you know what a poke bowl is, let me know in the comments. But we are going to turn this tomato into tuna. This is the magic of vegan cooking. So let's check this out. I'm going to get my water boiling again. So the first thing you need to do is get a pot of boiling water. And you're also going to need some sort of container. Sorry, that's a really gross shot of the horrible sticker that's still in the back of this container. You need a container of cold or coldish water. So what you want to do is take a Roma tomato, because we want as little seeds as possible, and just the way that the tomatoes are shaped, you really want to do this with a Roma tomato. So you're going to score the end pretty far down, because what we're doing is we're going to take the skin off this tomato. So you're going to score it, and then what that's going to do is allow the skin to peel away up here so that we can really easily take the skin off. So let's check out our other view. I have my pot of boiling water. And then you want to just carefully drop your tomato in, don't burn yourself. And then if you have a slotted spoon, that's the best. And we want to cook this tomato for about 45 to 60 seconds. So I'm going to try to watch my clock here. And you want to spin it a little bit because the tomato will sort of bob up and down. And you'll start seeing the skin peel away. But we're also cooking this, so we want to have the flesh of the tomato be pretty soft. So that's what we're looking for as well. And you'll notice your water might go a little bit yellow or red, but that's okay. So you can see the skin's already peeling off this pretty easy, but again, we want to actually cook it too. So I'm going to keep letting this go for a little bit more time. And I'm just doing one tomato, but this original recipe, you want to do 2 to 3 medium-sized tomatoes, depending on how much you want to make. You might have extra marinade or not, so it's up to you how many tomatoes you want to try. And I just saw a hilarious Pokemon joke in the chat there about Poke Bowls. I don't think Poke Bowls have anything to do with Pokemon, but I could be wrong. So just a little bit longer for this guy. I can see the skin really peeling away, but I want that flesh to soften up a bit too. And then we are almost done here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make this a marinade. And then it's also, like you saw in the picture, going to have a little bit of a spicy mayo sauce. So I think we're pretty good here. I'm going to turn the heat off. And we're going to take that tomato out and put it right in our cold water. So I'm going to remove my pot somewhere over here. And hopefully remember that this is on and not burn myself. So there's always something going on in these cooking demos. So we have our bowl of water, and this is already feeling pretty easy to touch. So what the boiling did is now I can peel this skin off super easy. And I think a lot of people do this when they're making salsa and tomato sauce. So there we have our boiled tomato with no skin. So now I can also get rid of my water. Now this is the messy part. I'm going to try to do this in a bowl and we're going to see how well we do. So we want to, let's see, I don't know where to put this because it's so messy. So we want to cut it in half. And then let's see if I can get a better view for you. So we're cutting it in half and then we're going to cut it in quarters. And then we're going to cut all the seeds out like that. So it's going to give us these little pieces. Make sure to get that little sort of stem nub off the top. We don't want any hard bits and we don't want any seeds. So they're going to end up looking like that. So one more time here, we're cutting it in quarters. Now this is the hard part because it's so slippery. It reminds me of that Pretty Woman quote where she's got the escargot and she says, "Slippery little suckers." So they are going to fall apart like crazy and be messy, but I swear this is probably the messiest part. So now we have our little tomato pieces which are already looking pretty good. I'm going to get rid of that bowl. So there are some recipes or certain traditional dishes where there might be a piece like that looks like this and you can marinate it like this. You can also cut it in strips and marinate it like this. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then that would go on a piece of rice as like a sashimi style. So there's different ways you can do this, but for our purposes today, for the type of rice bowl or poke bowl, we're actually going to cut these in sort of smaller cubes. I'm not getting my directions right here. There we go. That's a better view for you folks. So we're going to cut these in cubes, and then these are going to be our little faux tuna pieces. So you can tell already we've got a really authentic color going on there with the tomato. So that's part of the reason why we use tomatoes. So we got that. And now we're going to make our marinade. So I'll switch back. For this marinade, there are a couple of things that you might not have at home, not a normal ingredient. So we're going to go over them a little bit. Usually I just pour them in. So one of them, the stuff that you might have is you're going to need olive oil or any neutral oil. Even olive oil, if you have something more neutral like avocado oil or grapeseed oil, use that, but olive oil is okay. And then you're going to need soy sauce, which most people do have. And then some of the stuff you might not have is rice vinegar. But that is a really good ingredient for you to pick up. It's super affordable and you can use it in a lot of different Asian inspired recipes. And then the other thing that some people don't always have is white pepper, but you can also use black pepper or no pepper. And then this is the really odd one. So this is mirin, which is, they call it a rice seasoning, but it's actually a type of seasoned wine. There's not alcohol in this version, but that's what it comes from. So that you can get at most Asian grocery stores, and it's also really good in a lot of Asian inspired cooking, so it's worth it to pick it up. And I think this bottle was between $2 or $3. So those are the things that we're going to need for our marinade. So I'm going to put that together. You marinate the tomatoes at least a couple of hours, or if you can do it overnight, then it really settles in and it's fantastic. And then the last thing you're going to need, I almost forgot, is some roasted seaweed pieces. So you can use a roasted pack like this, which is nice to buy because it's like a nice snack. Or if you have nori sheets from making sushi, you can also use those, so either or. The original recipe also included kombu flakes. So kombu is the big, huge sheets of seaweed that you sometimes see in Asian cooking. It has a really strong sea flavor. I do have a friend online right now from Nova Scotia, and you could probably use, I'm going to butcher the name, dulce. Is that the right way to say it? Let me know if I said that correctly, because that also has a strong sea flavor. So anything you can get that would add sort of a sea flavor to get that tuna fish flavor substitute. Okay, let's do this marinade. So So we're gonna need that nearby. So we have a bowl, and you want to, this is a bit big, but you want to try to find a bowl when you're marinating stuff like this that's as small as you possibly can get it, that will fit everything. Because then that way the marinade will sit evenly on all the stuff. So that's one tip when you're marinating. Try to use a really small bowl. Like, do as I say, not as I do, so that you can marinate that properly. So we are going to start with 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. So it's dulce, no A on N, dulce. Dulce, I think I got that right. That's the seaweed you can get out east in Canada here. So 2 tablespoons and a little splash extra of soy sauce. So we've got that going. And then we have 1 tablespoon of the oil. And the oil will help everything stick together, so it's really useful in this recipe. And then we're going to do 1.5 tablespoons of the mirin. 1.5 tablespoons, not 1.5 tablespoons. I don't even know what I'm saying. So mirin is like a sweet, I can't even describe it. It's kind of a sweeter taste. So that goes in there. And then we're going to use so now we're switching to 1 teaspoon because rice vinegar is very strong. So we're going to do 1.5 teaspoons of that. Just a half. I'm eyeballing that a little bit. And then we're going to put in our white pepper. Just a little bit there. And then let's give that a mix first to get everything together. And then we are going to put the seaweed in, but it's best to do that over top of the tomatoes because if you put the crumbled up seaweed right in the liquid, it's just going to kind of all stick together. So let's get that all mixed up. And the smell is really good. Love it. Okay, so we're going to get that in. Like that. And then you're just going to take, this is another bit of a mess part, you're just going to take one of these and just crumble it up on top. So this is, you want to make it small pieces, and it would help actually if my hands weren't wet, but they are. So this is just going to flavor it. This isn't meant to, it will end up in the final dish, but this is more to flavor it, so you don't have to worry about what it looks like. You can just mulch it up and put it in there. Again, dry hands will help you crumble that up. And then we have, let's check our lighting here. Horrible lighting. Okay, so then we have that all mixed up. And you're going to put a lid on this and put it in the fridge for at least a couple hours. And then, like I said, you want a really small container with a lid. And then you flip it whenever you think of it, whenever you go in the fridge, and leave that overnight. And then the final product, let's get this organized here with our messy board, is going to end up looking like this. So you can see the marinade is really settled in to the tomatoes, and you might have a lot of extra marinade, but that's okay. And then you can smell the sweetness of the tomatoes really comes through, but you have that seaweed giving you a sort of a sea flavor as well. So now we get to make our spicy mayo. So let's clean up this. This is a messy one for a demo, but when I was making it before, it did not get this messy. So let's stay clean, folks, in our kitchen. So you're going to start with a bowl, and we're going to make the spicy mayo in here first, and then we're going to add the tomato into here. So of course we need some mayo. So you're going to do a couple of tablespoons of Hellmann's vegan mayo, which is the best one. I have tried many, not many, but I've tried several vegan mayo. This one is the best. Stick to Hellmann's. And then we're going to use a tiny little drizzle of sesame oil. Just like that. And then this one is Sriracha. So you're going to use Sriracha or any kind of sort of hot sauce that you have that is a more hot saucy flavor and not something like buffalo wing sauce. You want to stick with a normal hot sauce. And then, of course, you're going to put as much in as you like. So let's do a bunch. We're just gonna mix that up. This is the easiest part. So mix that up in there. And so we've got a little bit of a pink there. I don't want to go too hot. So we're gonna do that because you can always put sriracha on top, right? So stick to that. So you don't want too much. You don't want this to be soupy, but you want everything to be covered. So then what we have to do is put our tomatoes into the mayonnaise. There we go. But we don't want all that liquid. So if you have a fine strainer, I have one of my other miniature kitchen tools that I seem to collect. I don't know why. So we're going to strain the liquid out of the tomatoes and put it in the sauce. So, and you want to make sure you do get some of the seaweed in there because we're looking for this tuna flavor, right? Tuna fish flavor. So drain it out. You don't have to squish it, but you want to just drain most of the liquid out. So let's do this in some batches here. But again, you can use a larger strainer. So we're going to put this all in. Let's get it all. And then you could actually use I would use the liquid for this to start like a stir fry sauce or even an Asian inspired salad dressing because it does have oil in it. I think that would be delicious. So I'm totally keeping that. I like the recipes where you can use multiple parts of it. So there we go. So now we've got all our liquid out. And again, let's keep our kitchen clean and get this out of here. And we're going to mix it. So look at this. Now it's going to start looking like the photo. So you are going to have some extra liquid in here depending on how many tomatoes you used. But I think if you made this a few times, you would get to realize exactly how much you needed. So there you go. And you can just mix that into your salad dressing, I guess. So now we have our spicy tuna. It looks so good. Actually, I'm just going to give it a go right here. Oh dear. That is so good. I didn't reveal the taste test all in one piece. I ate it first, but it's so good. So we are going to have our bowl. So in this bowl, I have some brown jasmine rice. And I've got shredded up cucumber and carrot. But one thing that would be really good in this is some pickled relish, whatever sort of crispy vegetables you want. And for this dish, because the tuna is cold, the rest of this is cold. And for me, that's going to taste delicious. But if you want to do warm rice as well, that's totally fine. And again, this could be put in sushi. It could be put in a hand roll. There's a bunch of different ways you can make this. So let's get this topped up. I'm trying to do this on camera. I keep I'm backwards to my normal vantage point. So then let's get this on here. Oh my goodness. It's going to be so good. Okay. So there we go. And I'm just going to go put that on there. So there's that. And of course, 2 toppings you want to do. I always say this, you want to make your dish look good, even for yourself. So, green onion. And guess what else is coming on? I think I've lost track of the chat. So if you're talking to me and I'm not responding, I can't see it. I am not prepared for this. We need our everything bagel mix on here. So again, if you're new, this everything bagel mix has got garlic and onion. We've got sesame seeds, black sesame seeds. We've got poppy seeds, and we've got nutritional yeast and all that stuff. So, oh, it looks so fancy. There, look at that. I'm going to try to see if I can get back in the chat to see what you guys are on about. Okay, nothing exciting in the chat, but exciting here in our bellies in about 2 seconds. So I'm super impressed. I can try to show you in this lighting what this looks like, because I may have had a dish like this in a restaurant a million years ago before going vegan, but I just really wanted to try it because it's one of those things where you're thinking you can make like anything that you can eat out in a restaurant non-vegan, you can make vegan. And we just made tuna that tastes like tuna fish flesh out of tomatoes. So now, even though I kind of ruined the taste test because I had a bite off camera, it was so good. I'm excited to try this together, all in one bite. Mmm. Mmm. Definitely pretty good cold. The rice is a little bit lukewarm, which is fine. Even temperature matters when you're eating, as well as flavor. So I have the fresh cucumber, I've got some fresh carrots and the green onion, and then to have the creamy and spiciness of the mayo is amazing. But I am going to put a little bit, gotta open the container first. I'm gonna put, oh my gosh, today. I take 1 week off and now I can't even do a cooking demo. Okay, let's get back to this because it's so good. I want to try it with the lots of spice. In this bite, I have a bunch of the seaweed. Mmm. So good. So good. And then the sriracha just came in at the end when I took that bite. And it mixes with the creaminess so good. So definitely, you have to try this. Way easier than I thought. I just did the whole tomato trick on camera. It does not take a long time to get those skins peeled. It's not like some big annoying process to get the skin off. The only thing that I would do is cook, if you really are looking for an authentic texture, because the tomatoes are still pretty firm in mine, is get really ripe tomatoes and cook them a little bit longer, even if all the skin peels off. Just cook them a little bit longer and be prepared for them to be squishy. But other than that, I would totally make this recipe, and I would definitely put this like in a sushi roll. It'd be so delicious. So delicious. Okay, as I'm still chewing, I think that's the most amount of bites I've taken for a taste test. But thank you for joining me. Thanks for participating. Thanks for liking my channel. Thanks for subscribing and all your support that you always give me. I really appreciate it. I didn't get much in the chat this time, but I see my regulars are there. But again, if you're new watching, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you have some extra time, please stick around and watch some more videos to help me show the YouTube algorithms that my channel is cool. That's it. Have a good night and enjoy your tomato tuna if you try it. Bye. Time to go. Awkwardly sign off. Bye.